Hey there, everyone. How's it going? Yeah, so amazing. Thank you, sir. Just getting some water after the dance. Oh, Alchemy. Yeah. So, first of all, I just want to know you a bit more, understand what we're talking about here. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Feel free to answer or not. First question is, how many Web3 developers do we have here? Raise your hands. I see. How many designers do we have here? Community managers? Who likes the color yellow? Okay. Amazing. Only 3 people. I see. That was a random question. It's not useful for the presentation. By the way, yep. I am Vitto, for those who don't know me. I'm a developer advocate at Alchemy, Twitter content creator, full stack Web3 developer, and actually community manager now. So for those who don't know what Alchemy is a Web3 tooling platform. So let me be super brief here. Do we know the difference? How many do know the difference between Web 2, Web 1, Web 3? Raise your hand. Right. That's the thing. So, oops. How can I go back? Yes. So there was a time in the, I would say, 90s, where this thing was born, and it was Web 1. Essentially what happened is that we had a bunch of scientists all over the world, and we're like, okay, I'm studying this, you're studying that. Amazing, how can we share information? Well, you can send me a letter. Well, great, it takes 2 weeks to write the letter, maybe it's slowing down things. Why don't we create something that can transfer information? And we're like, oh my God, the military already had one. It's called ARPANET. Let's copy it. And they invented the World Wide Web. So the World Wide Web was about exchanging information between scientists, right? But people like us didn't have really access. I don't know how many scientists there are in this room. You see, probably no one at that time would have used Web 1. Then there was this need, though, for normal people like us to start using the internet. Because everyone was wanting to sharing information, right? I have my phone in my pocket. It's not in my pocket anymore. I don't know where is my phone. That's weird. By the way, we all want to share information, right? We take pictures, we take videos. So we invented this thing called Web 2. And Web 2 was more about exchanging information, creating content. So people like us could actually create content, post it on the internet. Think about Facebook. Think about YouTube. Think about OnlyFans. So we have all these platforms, right, where people could create content. And then we had Web 3. Web 3 is the need for people to exchange value. And during this conversation with you folks, I really want to go deeper into what is exchanging value first, and then what is Web 3, right? What is this thing we call Web 3? Now, back to Alchemy, we like Web 3 a lot. So we're into Web 3 fully. If you think about PCs, you have your, wait, is it in French? I don't know. Anyway, this is an operating system. You have your computer, on top of that you have an operating system, and on top of that you have applications, right? And they can work on Mac, they can work on Linux, Windows, and so on. Then at a certain point, we were like, oh my God, we can make things more web-based. We don't really need all these computational resources every single time. I don't need to maintain my server. I don't need to do a bunch of things. So we invented a bunch of protocols, we invented the cloud, and these tools came in. So we had Netflix, Airbnb, Uber, amazing. But then the Web3 came in. And at that point, we had these 3 things, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other chains. And you need an operating system, right? You need a way to connect this thing, HTTP, to Netflix, RAM CPU, to Excel, Bitcoin, to nothing, Ethereum, to NFTs, okay? And to do that, we created Alchemy. Alchemy, super short, is a node provider Web3 developer tooling platform. You create your account, completely free, and you spin up your application, have a bunch of nodes, fully scalable, build your application, no costs. Well, if you want to, of course, scale to billions of people, like OpenSea, because we support people like OpenSea, Meta, Adobe, 0x, SushiSwap. If you want to, of course, become OpenSea, probably there is some cost at that point, but you can easily work on that completely for free. So this is what Alchemy is, and This is what Alchemy did last year. So we went from an evaluation of $0.5 million, sorry, $0.5 billion, 500 million, to 10.2 billion. That was the fastest growth in pretty much history. Facebook didn't match the same growth. It was crazy. Why? Because we were only 37 people in the company. If you do the math, that's the GDPR of Gambia, for each people working at Alchemy. And it was crazy, right? We've seen the bull market rising, altcoin making millions of dollars. We were there, and this will happen. But that's not the point of the presentation, right? We were talking about the people, the community. We were talking about what is Web3. Now, who's confident to tell me what is Web3? There is one person that is confident to tell me, I know what is Web3. Come on. Yeah?
Is the next evolution of web where the data is owned by the users rather than just observing or seeing other people's data, right?
Yes.
The opportunity to own your own data.
Yes. And how do we do this?
I don't know.
That's the question. Essentially, what he said, did you hear him? So he said, having ownership over your data. Now, historically, we never had ownership over our data. Never, right? We're early 17th century banks, Italy, Genoa, my city. We created the first bank. It was actually the 16th century. We wanted to give money to people. You gave money, you gave your information, this information was put in a closet, that's it. You don't have ownership over your data. We create video on YouTube. You spend hours and hours creating video on YouTube. One day, YouTube wakes up and it's like, I don't like this person. I'm gonna shut them off. Do I need to give them explanation? Absolutely not. I don't give a shit about that, right? I'm just making money over people's content, and that's perfectly fine. But be mindful, don't stigmatize these things. A lot of people made a lot of money thanks to these companies, right? So we have to thank them. The problem is, things like Cambridge Analytica started to happen, right? So it was 2016, and we see like Facebook sharing our data with government for the elections. Super bad. 2 days ago, I don't know how many of you, I mean, that's the thing. In America now, abortion is not a thing anymore. And this is super bad, of course. This was this girl that wanted to, not have a pregnancy because she was super young. So she sought help outside the country. And Facebook, from the height of his wise brain, decided to share all the chats between this girl and her mother, with the police. Now this girl is going through very big issues, just because she didn't want to, bring her pregnancy forward. And that's super bad, right? I cannot talk with other people online without the fear of my information being shared. I will get back at this in 2 slides. But first, I want to show you one thing. This is Electric Capital. For those that don't know, Electric Capital is a VC fund that is super recent, born in 2018. This is the growth of the Web3 ecosystem. Boom, December 2021. That's massive. You can look for these graphs and the World Report, looking for Electric Capital Web3 developers. Google is smart enough to show you the full, I think, 130 pages of data. Super interesting. So around now, we have 18,000, now actually more, 18,000 developers, monthly active developers in Web3. Another cool thing is that this is the growth over year. So look at that, 2021, plus 4,000, way more than the growth we had before. Actually, 2017, 2018 was a bubble, and for those who were there, congratulations, that was a crazy year. So this is the status, right? Web3 is growing like crazy, there are a lot of people getting into it. It's amazing, but the thing is, we're not nailing yet. Something is missing, yeah. We're not nailing yet the reason why Web3 is important. How many have bought an NFT in the last 6 months? How many of you? Can you raise your hand? How many buy Ethereum? How many are buying stable coins? Yeah. So, like randomly looking at you, I would say that more people are buying NFTs than stable coins. This is perfectly normal. The idea with Web3 until last year was let's make a ton of money and fuck yeah, right? I was like that. I was like, oh yeah, let me flip a couple of NFTs and make money. The thing is that that's probably, and if we think about it, that's probably not the future of Web3. This can't be the future Web3. Why that? We are in India now. By the way, cool country, I love it. Congratulations, folks. The food is amazing. But other than that, yeah, no, seriously. Other than that, in India, you're living like very strict regulations against cryptos, right? Because cryptos, like the sentence is, with great powers comes great responsibilities. Crypto come with huge responsibilities, right? They can change the whole economy. They build, create money out of nowhere. I don't know if you saw the meme that is like the printer goes brrr, right? That's what cryptos is. So the problem with like this speculation, this bubble, is that it can't last. It can't last. The economy is not built for this kind of money printing machines. The economy is a very balanced ecosystem where you need to choose your cards very, very wisely because you fuck up countries. It's not about, you lose $10,000. No, you bring an entire country in poverty completely. I brought here a couple of examples. So volatility, hyperinflation, I really want you to read these headers because this is Venezuela. Venezuela now is having 74.4% inflation rate. It's crazy. It means that every year they lose 74% of their value. Not calculated, I'm not talking about taxes. They're not paying 74% in taxes. Without counting the taxes, they lose 74% of their value. So what the Venezuelan and Argentinian actually population started doing, it was like, okay, I'm gonna save my money in US dollar. We're so close, I can do it. Big problem, if everyone in a country starts exchanging, if it starts exchanging rupees, INRs, with USD dollars, everyone in this room starts doing it, it's a problem for your country. Because the value of your coin, of your money, right, of your currency, starts dropping in favor of the US dollar. Very bad. We cannot do it. The state was like, all right, you cannot do it. I'm going to pose a limit on how many dollars you can buy every month to $200. And they were like, oh, great, thank you. You're so kind, seriously. With $200 a month, I can do anything. So probably that's not a solution. So what they did, they started saving their money in USDC. Can the state block their transactions to 200 USDC a month? No, that's not how it works. That's a blockchain, right? Correct. So they started saving money in USDC, a stablecoin. Stablecoins find a use case in Africa's most volatile market. Can you guess that? Same story. Volatility in Africa raised to 63.2% last year. That was freaking crazy. I had people in my friends' circles that were like, dude, I don't really know how to do it. Like, I bought a house 2 years ago, and I'm paying 4 times the mortgage. That's crazy. Very bad. Afghanistan, I have this friend from Afghanistan. She's a researcher, amazing person. She got paid, of course, in Afghani. That is the local currency there. Afghani crashed completely when the US government left Afghanistan. And you know what happened? It was a total mess. Worldwide economy reacted in the worst way possible, as always, with fear. Afghani dropping. Cool thing, my friend wasn't only paid in Afghani, she was also paid in Bitcoin. When this happened, Bitcoin was at $64,000. He was like, you know what? I'm going to convert a couple of my Bitcoins, buy a ticket, go to Europe, live a better life now. That's what happened. Now, with this mindset, now we have more context. NFTs, compared to this potentiality, is nothing. NFTs as we've seen them till today are nothing. The utility here is completely different. It's another degree, another order of magnitude. This has the potential to change societies. The other one has the potential to make you millions. Cool, I love it, but that's not the thing. Central organisms, I forgot an S, can yet be only substituted by smart contracts. Social proof is needed though. So what do I mean by that? I am Vitto, and tomorrow I can create an algorithmic stablecoin, and I'm not using the example of Luna because I'm still hurt by that. I am Vitto, and I can create my coin, the Vitto coin. It's a stable coin. It's pegged to the INR. I don't know why. I want to do this crazy thing. And I'm going to start to tell all of you, buy my coin. Of course, you shouldn't buy my coin. If you're going to buy my coin, that's wrong, right? You shouldn't buy my coin because I don't have any kind of economic knowledge to support this coin. The problem is not everyone is an economist, not everyone is a developer, we all are interested in different things, so you can't really understand always when a project is cool, is made by people that know what they're talking about, or when a project is bad, or better, faulty. Let's call it faulty, with flaws, right? Let me take an example. huge VC funds investing in Luna. Terra crash, how many of you know about Luna? Way more than buying NFT, I like it, okay. So, Terra crashes, they had a stable coin, USD, pegged to the US dollar. Not really pegged, it was an algorithmic stable coin. It means pegged with non-algorithmic stable coins, you have for every stable coin you issue, you have $1. So if the dollar goes up, the stable coin goes up. If the dollar goes down, the stable coin goes down. Algorithmic stable coins are more complex. I won't explain them today, but it's more like, okay, we have this value. Do we need more value? We're gonna burn, we're gonna remove from the market a bunch of stable coins. We need more value, less value because it's rising too much. We're gonna issue more stable coins, right? Then you need another currency because you need country value, but that's another story. So, sorry, I actually didn't finish that. So to come to the point that is, this project can be faulty, but because we're having the full knowledge of the world, it's very hard to evaluate if a project is okay or not. So what do you need? You need social proof. Social proof is not the best way to evaluate things, 100%, but it's the way humans evaluate things. If I start saying to you, that guy there is super funny, you should definitely talk with him. Oh my God, I had an amazing night. All of you will be like, okay, Francesco is probably funny, right? He had an amazing night with Vitto, so probably friendly, and yeah, that's what I need. Whereas if you started talking with Francesco without knowing him, without me vouching for him, you'd be like more suspicious, like what kind of person are you? It's a matter of attitude. So social proof is needed. You need people telling you that something is cool. Reviews. Reviews are like another example of social proof. That is, Web2 didn't need social proof. So what we did was like we started building communities around products. So the idea is I want a solution to a problem, so I'm gonna start building a product, and then eventually I will also need a community to live with my product, to push my product forward. Then Web3 came in, I was like, oh my God, we need social proof. Oh, that sucks. Okay, let's start creating communities, let's start creating products and build them around communities. Let's start talking with the communities. Let's start talking with the Venezuelan population and understand what do they need. Let's start talking with them. Let's start being transparent. Let's start being open source. Let's start understanding what people really need, because we have great powers here. We have power to exchange value. We have power to change lives. Before it was like, we have the power to make life easier. Like, we have power to make life faster. We have power to make life more productive. No, here, we have the power to decide if a community, if like a country can, live and buy and trade with like foreign countries or not, right? So that's what is Web3 in a few words. Web3 is the power of giving people the ability to exchange value, removing third-party trustworthy organization. With trustworthy organization, I mean governments, I mean any kind of person that can sign up, the banks, any kind of person that can sign up on your document to say, yes, this document is legit. So the idea here is build communities, right? I started this talk saying, oh, I want to talk about communities, but how do I create communities, right? How many of you are creating a Web3 project, are developing a Web3 project? I see. How many of you are students? Okay, I'm missing a bunch of people here. So how many are just developing Web3? Okay, yeah, that's the contrast. Okay, I see, perfect. So chances are, if you are building a Web3 project, you want to build a community, right? You want your community. Are you a student? Yes, you want a community to study with, right? C, you're just developing Web3, you probably don't care, but you might want a community to work with. But mostly, you want any project now in Web3 wants a community because we need social proof. We need to prove people that this project is valid, legit, and it's not ragging people. It's super crazy, right? There is anonymity, it's difficult. Yeah, build a community. You don't say, of course we need to build communities, but the problem is, how do I build communities? It's super hard. How do we bring people all together to use a tool and make sure that this tool for them is valuable, and the team behind it is trustworthy, and they're engaged, and they care about me, and they give feedback, and they actually use it, and like there are a lot of ands. Now, as you may know, whenever someone asks you something on the internet, you skip. When someone is like, oh, do you want to give us like a rating, 5 seconds of your time, skip. Do you want to like fill this question, skip. Advertising, skip. Everything that is like requesting something to us is a skip, unless it's giving us value. And the cool thing about Web3 is that it gives value to people, inherently. That's the goal, right? The goal is giving value then. Under the form of monetary, under the form of monetary value, under the form of financial security, under the form of equality. So there are 3 principles that are connected to 3 reactions. It wasn't optimized for this screen, so I'm going to move here. The 3 principles, and I have to thank my colleague, huge shout out to him, Albert Hu, that came up with this triad, is learn, earn, innovate. Whenever you want to start a new domain, like Web3, you want to do these 3 things to build its community. And these 3 things will be connected to these 3 reactions. Know, use, love. Learn. I'm going to talk about all of them, but just briefly. Learn, of course, is learning about new things. Everyone was like, oh my God, Web3 is a bubble. I was like, oh my God, Web3 is a bubble. It's impossible. My father is a bank director. So the first time I heard about Bitcoin, I was like, sure, I can make 30K in 1 month. Sure, of course, it's not a bubble. Come on. Then 1 year, 2 years, it was 2017. My friend came to me and was like, you know what? I just made 250K in 1 day. I was like, well, fuck you. Okay. At that point, I was like, oh, maybe as a developer, I really want to learn smart contracts. What is a smart contract, right? So learning, that was my approach. It took me 3 years to learn, to decide I wanted to learn this thing. This is the longest one to accomplish, because you have to convince people that learning is a good idea. Now, convincing people that do not want to learn that learning is a good idea, yes. Earn. Easy. That one is easy. People start learning about it, and they're like, oh my God, there is an advantage. I can actually earn something. Earning is not about making your net worth higher, greater. It's about earning in personal value. It's about earning in freedom. It's about earning in money, of course. It's a lot of things. Now, I want to speed up because I want to do a quick Q&A session at the end, but I'll try to be brief. Innovate. This is for not everyone. So we can actually stop here. For like 90% of the population. We want these for developers, engineers, artists, designers, and all the people I have called out before. Why that? Because that's our job. Without that part, 1 and 2 are useless. You can learn once, you can earn once, but if you can keep on innovating, the first 2 won't work. Of course, what will happen is that people will start to know once they learn. They will start to use once they earn. They will start to love once they see innovation. That's it. And that's the thing that we notice creating our communities. Now, learn, I've been super beliefy about it, so I would just glimpse. What you want to do when you're building a community is make sure people understand your product. Is make sure, and again, Web3, okay, sorry, let me take a step back. If I tell you a person that sells car, how do you call them? Like a person that sells cars. Yeah, salesman, called salesman. If I tell you a person that allows people to save their money. Bank. Yeah. How about a person that allows people to get more money to build their products? That's the investor. That's the investor. If we put all of them together, we can call them Web3, right? Web3 allows you to do all of these things plus 1, probably. When you're building a product, when you're building Web3, not just your product, when you're building Web3, the first thing you want to do is make sure that people that are using your product learn about your product and know how to use it. Very important, fundamental, documentation. If there is no documentation, what are we talking about? If you're telling me there is an NFT project, now there is the fashion NFTs project without a roadmap. I won't talk about it, but learn is usually very important if you're not talking about degen stuff. Earn, same thing as I told you before. Earning is the main principle why people do things. Can I earn something out of it? There is any kind of ROI out of this action. You might like it or not, but there is a real truth that we all need to understand is that people fundamentally don't give a shit about us, don't give a shit about us, unless it's super popular to give a shit about us. So what happened is that at first when your project is not Facebook, it's not YouTube, or likely Alchemy is becoming, no one will give a shit about it. But then, at a certain point, they will start earning from it. They will start learning about it. This will start growing, and they will start giving a shit about it. Does it make sense? Amazing. I wanted to put a Vitalik picture at a certain point here just to wake you up, but I won't do it. Innovate. Innovate. Same thing as I told you before. If we don't innovate anything, it doesn't matter, right? Innovation is the key, is the engine of all of this. Innovation is what will make things like the running hack or the phantom exploit or all the rugs and scams and hacks that we've seen in the last years non-existent now. Because innovation brings more security. Innovation means more products. Innovation means more earn, learn, and innovate. Oh, where is it? And innovate, of course. So build tools. Now, we tried to apply all of this. We did an experiment, right? We were like, okay, now that we said all of these, amazing, lots of words, the theory, I love it. How can we put this into practice? And we came up with this road to Web3. How many of you know road to Web3? I love it. That's actually a good number. Let me drink some water and I'll tell you what is road to Web3. So what happens with the road to Web3, we wanted to encompass learn, earn, and innovate all together for developers. We are a developer platform, right? So what we want to do is onboard more developers. That's our product. And we came up with this thing. Road to Web3 is a 10 weeks bootcamp, completely free, that you can attend online. And it's taught by the best in class. And by the best in class, I mean, you have 1 week where you're learning about Polygon. Who's the best person to teach you about Polygon if not a Polygon engineer? You want to learn about Chainlink. Who's the best person to talk about Chainlink if not Patrick Collins? For those who don't know Patrick Collins, look for him on Google, and he's an amazing DevRel, great friend. Hey, Patrick. Then the last thing is, 10 weeks bootcamp, you can earn anytime you complete a challenge. So every week you have a challenge, and once you complete the challenge, you earn an NFT. So this is actually the NFTs you get when you subscribe. This was the OG one, this is the new one. You have week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have 10 weeks, 10 NFTs. Now you can already see it, learn. You learn. You have a 10 weeks bootcamp from best-in-class people. We're not an educational platform. We're a Web3 tooling platform. We don't do education. We're not Udemy. We wanted to do it, though. Second, earn. You earn NFTs. Every time you complete a challenge, you earn something. Why you have to be accountant with yourself? Because you got to earn NFTs, right? Second, you have also communities to earn the network part. You earn people that can talk to you and give you suggestions, and you can get like new projects, new ideas. And then there is innovate. We're building new developers. We're creating new developers. That's the idea. We're creating innovators. We're creating the fuel for this engine to be there. So this is Web3, Road to Web3, a 10-week self-paced Web3 developer program to help new blockchain devs go from beginner to advanced, like everything. So 3 principles, 3 initiatives. Learn. You can learn. Earn. Get POKs, proof of knowledge. These are the name of the NFTs. Innovate. Hackathons plus accelerator. So once you have finished learning all of this, you're a Web3 developer, and you have hackathon where you can win an awful lot of money to build your project. And you have accelerators where you can meet an awful lot of people to build your project. That's the idea. It's how can I make developers empowered enough to make a change. Now, Alchemy, I want to bring this to your use case, but probably you're not building Alchemy, right? So the question might be, how can we do the same? Now, the principle, try to simplify as much as possible. Try to be as simple as possible. I don't know if he's here because he had a talk. There is the Toko Exchange CEO in this room, and they have an exchange. It's a centralized exchange, right? They sell money, but you can already see it. How can I bring more people to my exchange? I'm going to educate them. So they created the Toko Academy. For both of us, for me and this guy, it was like a game changer. Why that? Because Road to Web3 was an amazing growth engine. We brought more than 12,000 students in 3 months, 4,000 research certifications in 4 months, 45,000 Discord members plus 150. These are scams. We started from 0. Okay, so that's why it's to 12,000%. Thank you. It was a venture, and shout out, there is Aniket somewhere down there. He's my colleague. Can you do a clap for him for a second? Yeah, thank you. He's doing an amazing job, powering, answering to people. Anyway, these are the results. It was amazing. It was crazy. Can you believe how much it takes to bring 12,000 developers to your platform? With marketing? As a developer, I hate people trying to sell me things. If you try to sell me something, I stop talking with you. Right? As a developer relations, luckily, I have to talk with a lot of people trying to sell me something. But what I notice is that the most convincing people are the people that do not need to sell me something, right? They just need to tell me about their project, and the project is cool enough to be sold. So 12,000 students, 4,000 issue certification, 45,000 Discord members. So, to go back, now, because we grow a lot, and I'm taking a tangent here, because we're growing a lot, we started this program. So this is the next part of this topic, that is you have to scale all of these, right? You cannot have 45,000 Discord members with a 30% engagement rate in your Discord without help. So to do that, we started another thing. That ties up to the idea of earn. So people earned, they became experts about Web3. We selected them to become Alchemy ambassadors. So they're now working with Alchemy, helping other people, earning, learning, and innovating. We have one of our ambassadors here, is Emmanuel. He's doing an amazing job. Emmanuel, can raise your hand. Don't be shy, he's amazing. Yeah, clap for him, please, as well, because he's one of the first ambassadors. So if you want to join as an ambassador, you just need to join the community. Anyway, you can try Road to Web3 here. And I want to just close it saying one thing, and then a Q&A. I wanted to be brief again, because with the Q&A. When we think about Web3, I really want to push on that. We live all in a country that is not too bad, right? We have our financial tools. Oh yeah, that's for later on. Yeah. We have our financial tools. We have our banks, everything works. If I want to send money to you, I can do it, right? There are no big issues. I can use Pay. Do you have PayPal in it? Yeah, you have PayPal. Of course you have PayPal. You have a bunch of tools, applications that I can use. But have you ever tried to send money to one friend in Palestine? Have you ever tried to send money to one friend in a third world country? Have you ever tried to talk with them and see how they're saving their money? Have you ever talked to someone from Venezuela and asked them how they're saving their money? That's why I'm saying this, because when we live in a world, when we live in a country where everything is fine, where everything works, more or less, no country works, right? But where we can live our lives without huge struggles, we can eat, we can do whatever, we only see a part of the use cases of the technology. And Web3 is the biggest of these examples, because Web3 allows you to create banks out of code. And when you're thinking about what is Web3, don't think about NFTs. And when someone asks you what is Web3, don't tell them about NFTs and crypto. Tell them about the people that are changing, the lives that are changing thanks to this technology. Talk to them about the tools that are bringing financial equality all over the world. Talk about its communities, because that's super powerful. Because we're only 18,000 developers per month on Web3. And if there are 800 people in this conference, you can do the math. It means there are like 7.3 something percent of the world Web3 developer population at this conference, right? It's so easy, it's a small family. It's a small family tied up by an idea, the idea of freedom, financial freedom for everyone, and financial equality for everyone. How we do it, that's about how smart we are. Do we want to create a Ponzi scheme or something that changes the world? That's our choice. Now, to conclude, if you want to check a couple of things, there are more things here. Okay, this is the Road to Web3 website. Super cool. You gotta learn for free how to become a Web3 developer. There is one lesson missing. The 10th are all here, and it is at alchemy.com/road-to-web3. Don't look at that URL. This is vanity URL. alchemy.com/ I'm controlling it with my mind. Road to Web3. No, without dashes, mind, please. Without dashes. Yeah, Road to Web3. Amazing. Press enter. And internet, do the job. Yes. So alchemy.com/road-to-web3. Then we have another thing. Do you want to get involved into it? We're creating, of course, Road to Web3 page on Twitter. This is the best thing ever, by the way. Thank you. And then we have another thing that I want to show you that might be interesting to you. If you want to get involved in open source, we just started this thing that is Create Web3 app. We can take some time later on to talk about it. Essentially, it's create a Next.js app, but for Web3, you can create a fully fledged decentralized application in 3 minutes. Counted. The link, just create Web3 app on the internet, and it should appear. It got 2,000 weekly downloads at NPM, and we released it 1 week ago. So I guess it's useful for someone. Thank you. And then we have the hackathon handbook. That is the last one. And boom. Okay, how many of you did hackathons in the last 6 months? How many of you struggled with their project and the demo and keeping everything on time? Okay, this is the solution to that issue. Essentially, we were like, oh my God, everyone is struggling. Everyone is thinking about what kind of tool should I build? How do we build it? Blah, blah, blah. Here, you just copy a bunch of things. There are snippets for Wallet Connect, snippets to show all of your NFTs, snippets to show the floor price, the transactions, the latest blogs, anything you might need using the Alchemy SDK. Shout out to the Alchemy SDK. You can create a free account, take your snippet, claim 100 credit bounty, mint your free Alchemy Hacker NFT, start building, but that's the point. Once you have finished building, once you have done your project, if your project is meaningful, and with meaningful, please remember the definition of Web3 we gave today. This is the Web3 program. You can win up to $50K in Alchemy credit to scale your decentralized application and stop thinking about the prices you have to pay. It's about bringing freedom of innovation to developers, not to make money in this case. And I think that was it for my speech. And if you have questions, please ask them. Over there. So, questions? Yes. Oh, okay. Do we have a microphone? Amazing.
Thank you, Vitto, for that. Come on, everybody, can we hear it for Vitto?
Wait, we have the Q&A now, so.
We are running short of time, so we'll have only about 5 questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So if you have a question, now is the time to raise your hand. So I've seen 1, I've seen 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you.
Amazing.
Okay, so thank you so much. I have a few questions. And our first question is, I'm very surprised about the number of bunch of the new developers who is joining their community. But what about retention, or what about their attachment for these developers? How do you measure?
I'll make sure that these numbers are like real.
Yeah, I understand it's a real number, but it's just amount of the number. Like, so I want to know about the quality of the engineers. How many engineers engage with your community, and these kind of temperature kind of things. I want to figure. This is first point. Second point is, are you planning to provide any like a hiring solution as well? Because if I'm not a developer, however, if I'm a developer, after learning that this kind of development of in the Web3 space, I'm eager to find us any job opportunity in the Web3 space as well. Is there any like a planning in near future?
That's an amazing question. 2 questions. So for the first question is, let me give you like a glimpse on how we calculate Electric Capital actually calculate these numbers. So essentially, they develop tools. They're all data analysts and machine learning engineers. What they did is they use parentheses, this is only open contributions. So we're not taking into consideration closed contribution. Why that? Because they took all of GitHub repos that have Web3 in there, and they also maintain, if you go to Electric Capital GitHub Web3 something, you can see all the GitHub repos on GitHub that has something to do with Web3. They scraped all of them, checked who's contributing to them, and of course, they ran a bunch of algorithms to see who's contributing in that month, who stopped contributing, in what way they contribute, and they just added up the numbers from there. Now, there is some component of churning, so they also taken into consideration the people that stopped building during that month. So 18,000 is like a net value. It's not like the non-net value for this one. For the second, does it answer your question? Amazing. For the second one, that's a great, if I understood correctly, your question is, where do we find opportunities? How can developers find opportunities? How can we create opportunities for these developers to enter the industry? That's an amazing question. And so there are 2 ways, I think. Oh, of course, there are like a lot of ways. Now, the first way is, one thing that we're planning to do, especially with Road to Web3, so I'm talking for Alchemy, is to create some sort of, it's on an ideation page, it might take a month or so to come out, but to create some sort of job board. So once you have finished this course, then amazing, we have a lot of network with a lot of partners and people we're powering, again, OpenSea, Meta, Adobe, and so on and so forth. How can we put the 2 stakeholders in contact? Well, great, let's create a job board so you can directly apply for it. Now, there is a trick though, and should be another speech, but how do I get a job into Web3? That's another story, and the problem is, again, we're 7 billion people. It's true, we're only 18,000 Web3 developers, but we're still 7 billion people in the world, so there is a lot of noise. And I think the secret is to create signal out of the noise. So I really suggest everyone always do create content, and Francesco can vouch for it, create content on internet, guides. People are super interested in guides and resources. Second, of course, developing your GitHub is super important, open source contributions. So all of these are ways I would suggest to find a job there.
Thank you for that. Can we quickly have the second question? I think we might have to cut it down to only 3 questions. My apologies, but you are going to have him around, right? And by the way, I have planned something really special for you after the lunch. So do not go away.
Okay.
The second question, please. Go ahead.
Hello, hey Vitto. So I want to know about like who's really just starting into the Web3 space, right? How someone can create content and like find open source contributions and like eventually start to find ways earning as well. So
How to?
Yeah.
So content, easy. It's like super easy. It's a no-brainer. Every time you learn something, write about it. Because sometimes, I don't know if it ever happened to you, but every time I'm trying to speak faster because we don't have time, so if it's too fast, like tell me to slow down. But every time we build something, everyone incurs in a problem, right? It's like, oh my God, the tutorial was so straightforward, but I had to go on Stack Overflow because there was this error, and this guy didn't talk about this error, so I need to solve it by myself. Amazing. Create another tutorial that also talks about that error, and that's a better tutorial than the last one you watched. So that's a game of how can I create value out of the value I'm getting. How can I share the same value I'm getting? Value relay. Let's call it value relay. Then how to find open contributions. I would say, I'm biased, of course. Create Web3 is an amazing place to start because it's easy and it's not complex. The code base is very small. So you don't have to spend a month to understand it. But other than that, I think we can talk, or I can send you like a bunch of links, because there's no central platform. Now, that's a great idea. If you can create a central platform, not a central, like a platform with all open source projects in Web3, boom. You have just created a product. How to make money? Last answer. Create a platform for all the webs. No, just kidding. How to make money? Again, if you do the first one and the second one, you eventually start having people contacting you to help them creating projects. Now, at that point, it's your job to understand who's trying to rug you or is actually a serious person. I can really help you with that, but trust me, if you do the first 2 things, the third one is a byproduct. That's it. Of course, keep an open mind and talk with a lot of people, come to conferences, connect with them, because you can meet the CEO of like a crypto exchange that you wouldn't meet in the online life. That's super important.
Thank you. I am so sorry. I've been seeing the organizers from all sort of room sides, and there's one right here. He's saying, "Cut it off. We are running short on time." So, Vitto, thank you. You can please catch him offline. And my apologies to the other guys who couldn't get an opportunity to ask a question. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of my age, give it up for Vitto!
Let's go. Can we take a selfie? Can you give me my phone? Oh, yeah. Come here, take a selfie with us. Come here, come here. Do you know Francisco? Yeah. Go for Francisco!